I've unmuted everyone, and if anyone has a question, I'll be happy to try and answer.
I have a question, Stuart. It's Christine.
Yes, Christine.
I've, over the past year, off and on, when I can, I've spent a lot of time every night.
Please don't drink, wait another 10 minutes, please. It disrupts the whole class if people move like that. So please try and do the meditation and, stay centered. Go ahead, Christine, sorry.
That's all right. I've spent a lot of time off and on the last year looking at the stars at night for at least a half an hour or an hour, and I've gotten a lot of comfort from it. And the closest thing I feel when I'm in meditation. And I wondered what Rudy had to say about space, time, that whole thing.
I don't know what Rudy had to say about that. If it works for you, do it, Christine. That's the only answer to that. If looking at the stars, being out in nature, hugging a tree, whatever, do it. If that really helps you to open up inside, whatever works, I don't think there's any explanation here, because what works for you might not work for somebody else, and there are no ideal solutions here, or things that capture the essence. If going out your backyard and looking up at the stars works and helps you, then do it. That's all. I mean, I don't think there's nothing else involved in that. If it works for you, do it. I mean, and what Rudy would have to say, I have to ask him. I don't know. Go up into the cosmos and ask him.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question, Stuart. Wendy.
Yes.
I know you like that. And I actually do have questions, so it works. A lot of times you say work very deeply inside, and to work deeper than the last time, are you talking about a level of focus in the one point, or maybe you could elaborate on what you mean by deeper, how we can go deeper?
The answer is simple. The depth of your inner work depends, I talk about this a lot, depends upon your need to have a spiritual life. And the deeper your need is, the deeper you're going to go inside yourself. If your need is surface, if it's shallow, if it just, you're not going to go very deep. If your need is to just, break up a little tension inside you and kind of calm the mind a little bit, you're not going to go very deep. But if your need really has to do with being with God, having a spiritual life, that need will take you to energy that is infinite in the universe. And when you connect with that kind of energy, there is no limit to the amount of growth that can take place inside you. But that is not going to happen unless a person needs to do it. That's why I've stopped listening to anyone's excuses anymore. Well, I got this, I got that, and like I told somebody today, I said, when that need goes that deeply, it's like the Red Sea parts and allows the tribes of Israel to come out of slavery. I mean, that's exactly what happened. The universe makes it possible for you to do what you need to do in order to have a spiritual life. It will protect you, it will guide you, it will open up things that you never dreamed you could open up, because the need is so real to be with God. And when you need to do that, you really are trying to do the hardest thing there is to do on the earth. To have a spiritual life. It's all intangible. It all is beyond human understanding. It's outside the realms of mind and emotion. But tapping that need and finding it, making it a reality inside yourself. I only can talk from my own experience. I know what it's done for me. You know, I absolutely know what it's done for me. It opened up floodgates. It opened up, I mean, the Red Sea, you know, the Kundalini wand was waved by the God, and the Red Sea opened and allowed, you know, passageway to experiences that I never dreamed I could ever have in this life. That depends upon one's need. And I have a lot of respect because to have need like that requires guts, it requires courage, it requires a willingness to surrender in such depth that you truly make room for God to live inside you. Which means you got to fight like with the dragon, you know, like there's a battle of dragons against one's ego, one's mind, one's idea of security in life, one's idea of what they think is real versus what, you know, all of this stuff just interferes. And it really is like impurity, you know? It just damages the voyage that we all need to take to get a spiritual life. Because it's all in the head. It's all in an area of conflict, and it'll always ultimately set up barriers that keep one from doing this. The only way to get to the other side of these barriers is your need to grow, which means you will truly do whatever you have to do to grow and have a spiritual life. And honestly, look, I've never read about this in books. Maybe I've written about it in my books. I probably have, you know, I don't even remember. But it's just the way I've lived my life, you know, and it's been a blessing. It's truly been a blessing. Because then all these metaphors that you read in the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita, they turn into reality. You know, it's like Genesis. Genesis is not really something that happened a million years ago. Genesis is something that happens exactly in this moment. Every moment, the universe regenerates itself. And the only thing missing is our consciousness of being aware of this, being created around us every single moment, every single conscious moment, a moment we're alive. All of that comes when you need to have a spiritual life, and then you're willing to act on it. Not just I need, and why doesn't it happen? I need, and I will do the inner work. I will plummet the depths of my inner being. I will go to where I am connected to what's infinite in the universe. That really requires work on oneself, because everything in life almost is exactly the opposite. You know, everything in life is, you know, finding a little nest, security, protection against, and this is being a spiritual warrior. It's slaying all the dragons that live inside you. And there is a cosmic sword that will slay those dragons, you know? But one has to need so deeply that you get those energies working for you. You get the devas, the gods, all these higher forces, angels, whatever one wants to call them. They begin to work for you because your need is that deep. And the universe very well understands the difficulty of a human being moving from point A to point B in terms of their inner work and growth. And they work to help you, but you have to have the need. Otherwise, well, there's next lifetime and a lifetime after, 5 billion lifetimes down the road until one hits their head against enough walls that finally you say, well, what is the answer to all of this madness that goes on? I hope that's clear. You know, I'm trying to, and then in that, you know, we have family, we have jobs, and none of that interferes. In fact, we bring the highest level of consciousness to our families, our friends. our jobs, to life, to the sacred nature of life in all of its manifestations around us. You know, I had something happen the other day, which I thought was really amazing. My beautiful daughter, God bless her soul, she's advanced so much in her life in the last year in terms of job and working and, getting that stability inside herself. But she was always kind of resistant to the meditation. She started with that, but then so I stopped. I said, no. And then, Isabel was here. She was here for a month, actually. And the story of this young lady is like My Fair Lady. It's like Pygmalion coming from, being, a limey person selling flowers and, in the slums of London to becoming a princess. And she has gone through that kind of transformation in her life. And it completely blew my daughter away. And now she comes to me and says, Daddy, I want to meditate. I want to meditate. And you never know how it's going to happen and how God works. You never know. So the last days we've been having meditation every day, and it's just been a blessing. I see her starting to really need this and want this because it helps her in her life. And one never knows. As I say, I never know. That's why I leave everything alone. I don't interfere in people's lives. I try to, love them as they are, let them be, and then let the universe work. And it really is a blessing in the way it works. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, I was just waiting for you.
I was allowing the pause. Sometimes it really does, as you said, it feels like a battle. Sometimes the meditations are such flow and ease. And then other times I feel like I'm battling myself literally. And
Yeah. Okay, good. It is. I have the same thing, Paul. Sometimes the meditation, my God, is just the whole world is just full of light and splendor. Sometimes I feel like I'm drilling a hole through a mountain just to get to the other side. Neither one of those two things are better than the other because we need to learn to work and drill that hole. We need to learn to get strong when there's adversity and difficulty and there's resistance. And we also need the light, the joy, the love, the quiet, the peace that comes with deep meditation. We need both of these things. Rudy always talked about without roughage, our digestive system wouldn't work. We need roughage, drilling that hole through the mountain up against all of that, stuff is the roughage. We need to learn how to do that because life is full of it. So what you expressed is, really the very nature of this meditation, teaches you to do both, to rejoice in the splendor of love and joy and, music and sound, and at the same time, how to get to the other side of all your resistance, how to really be involved in that battle of dragons, learning how to get to the other side of your resistance. Both of these things are necessary. One is not in conflict with the other because they both exist. And if you get down to the reality of one's life, we have to deal with both of these things. And both of them are simply a way that God, the universe, teaches us how to grow.
That is so very helpful, Stuart. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, you can't run away from the roughage. Wherever you go, it's going to bite you in the ass, you know? I remember once when I was a kid, I even knew this before I met Rudy. I was in Belgium, and I was on my way to Rome, to hitchhike from Belgium to Rome. And I said, Stuart, you know, you came from New York to Belgium, you know, the language is different, everything is different, people are different, the architecture is different. So the only thing that's the same is you. You brought yourself from New York, and when you go to Rome, you're going to bring yourself from, you have to change. When you go to Rome, you're going to bring yourself to Rome. I'll never forget having that thought when I was there. This is like 4 years before I met Rudy. I have to change, I said. I didn't know how to do it then. After I met Rudy, I learned how to do it. And I've always told this story. I used to run a gallery in New York. I had a gallery, and I was selling a lot of esoteric tantric art and Buddhist and Hindu and even Christian stuff. And I had people who would come in all the time and tell me, you know, how they're going to go to the Andes, they're going to go to Stonehenge, they're going to go to the Himalayas, you know, and life is going to change for them. And I finally got so fed up with hearing this. You know, I wrote a little thing that wound up in one of my books. You know, the most sacred place in life is wherever you are, wherever you're standing. That's the most sacred. Wherever you are, you bring you. And if you're connected to God under those circumstances, that spot becomes sacred. The external world really doesn't change anybody. Although people spend a lot of time looking for changes in their own life by going to different areas of the external world. We change inside. Wherever you are, it becomes sacred. So people are here from all over the world, you know, from Brazil, from all over the United States. And wherever you are, it's sacred. So our job is to really build an inner life that is strong enough to connect with spirit. That transforms wherever we are into something sacred. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, God bless you all and thank you and for being here, for doing this, for using it to grow in your life. It's you know, it's just respect for Rudy, for Nityananda, for all these incredible teachers that are in the lineage of this meditation. So bless you all and thank you. And there'll be a class again tomorrow. And I'm hoping that everyone comes. And, you know, I decided, just to finish up, I decided that in September, in the beginning of September, I'm going to start looking for another place. And this is really serious. I want to have a place where people can come, where people can really do meditation. They can come for few days, for a month, for God, a year, whatever they want, you know? And they'll be able to do deep meditation where there'll be inexpensive Airbnbs and all this kind of stuff around that people will be able to stay. And so I'm going to seriously do this beginning in September. I have about 6 more months left on the lease here. And I don't want to have to fight with my landlord to get out of the lease. But I need to start looking. If you have ideas about places, then, you know, I'm open. I'm truly open. So God bless you all. Thank you. And have a wonderful evening wherever you are. And I hope to see everybody tomorrow. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stuart.
Right.
Thank you, Stuart.